it says we're live. It always sneaks up on me. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day. It's me, it's Joy. It's Joy Ruffin, and this is Biz to Biz with Joy. Grow your business in style. Every week, we bring to you a featured guest, and we talk about all the things that are important and major to you. And our featured guest tonight, Douglas McLaughlin, he is a personal trainer, in person, virtual, online. There's so much to talk about because we're in this crazy pandemic. So what we're going to be talking about is everything that has to do with you and your health. Women who are in their second act, second chapter, midlife, regardless to age, they hire me to amp up their wow factor. But let me tell you, your wow factor, unless you've got your health in line and in order, won't mean very much. And that's why I love people who are involved and invested in the health arena. So what we're going to do, and by the way, thank you for being here. It's always good when you show up because I know how busy we are. So I'm going to ask you to share out this video, and I'm going to ask you to help me to welcome our guest. I'm going to bring him up now. Doug, hello and welcome. So great to have you here. Yay.
Nice to be here, Joy. Thank you so much for having me. This is
my pleasure. My pleasure. Did you hear my opening? Health is everything.
Health is everything.
I applaud and I commend you because any and everyone who's in the health arena, regardless of what you're doing, I know how vital it is. So listen, let me ask you this, Douglas. I'm going to call you Doug, though. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine. I love it. That's great.
How did you forget about what you're doing now, online, virtual? What took you, what brought you into this arena of personal training? What was the seed? What was the impetus for you to get started there?
Thank you for asking the question. And it actually started quite simply in the sense that, so when my daughter was born, my beautiful daughter, Charlotte, who I call Charlie, when she was born, I stayed at home with her while the love of my life, Amy, she was working. And so I stayed home with her and took care of her. And in the midst of all of that, I also wanted to make sure that I was taking care of myself. I felt the need at that point in time that I needed to be mindful of my health and mindful of what I was doing myself as I got older. And I soon found out that there was a Y that was 5 minutes from our house. And on those days that I had Charlie with me, I would bring her to the Y, and she would have time in childcare and making new friends. And at the same time I was there, and I went to the gym, and I started finding a way to build my fitness and to start taking care of myself. And that, I guess, simple act evolved to something that I could never have imagined as I've come to this place all these years later. And so I started working out, and I started taking care of myself. And as that went along, I was gifted by meeting very wonderful people in that facility who invited me into their space, invited me into their classes, invited me into their experience. And in time, I was able to acquire my certification as a fitness instructor. And then also I was able to attain certification as a personal trainer. And I've attained that since then. And since then, my life has changed forever, and my world has changed forever. And my fitness journey continues. But that simple act of just wanting to take care of myself was the impetus for the change.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. One of my favorite expressions. You know why? Because first off, I mentioned to you earlier, I was a lot of a daddy's little girl. And you mentioned Charlotte, who you call Charlie, who's now 14 years old. One would never think that you had a kid who was 14 years old. You're like yourself, which is a compliment. But you, in the process of raising her, decided that you wanted to get yourself in the best shape. And all of this came about. What a wonderful beginning. What a wonderful beginning. And during all of this, taking care of your daughter, you decided to get all the certifications that you needed so that you could become a trainer.
Yes. All of that came about, and I had all the tools, and I had a lot of encouragement, all of my angels from the Y that encouraged me and supported me, and more or less were saying to me, you should be doing this. You should be teaching these classes. You should be a trainer. You should be passing this on. And I felt very, very encouraged by that. And I think deep down inside, even though it wasn't evident to me when I walked in the door the first time, there was something that was inside of me that thought, this would be wonderful to do. This would be very, very satisfying and gratifying and nourishing to do. And they supported me in that pursuit. And I am forever thankful for them for that.
Oh my goodness. You know, Douglas, that's a beautiful story for this, first off, for your daughter, and then for how it all began, the seed of it, and the why. You don't hear many people speak about the YM and the YWCA anymore, and yet it's a great place. And then you gave us a third seed to think about. People see in us what we can't see in ourselves. Somebody said to you, you'd be great at this. So you said, oh, okay. And then you started to whatever. And here we are. Love the story. Love the story. And how and when did you, was it because of the pandemic, which, my God, it started when, last March or April?
Last
March. Was that when you decided to go virtual, or had you started virtual before? When did you start to do the virtual?
Good question. It hadn't happened up at that point in time. When the pandemic hit and when things just stopped, at that point in time, I was still very, very active and very engaged. I was teaching multiple classes during a week. I had a lot of sessions, a lot of clients that I was doing personal training with, and I was keeping a very, very full schedule. This was still connected with the Y, and I was going. And I had other responsibilities there as well too. I was involved in other events and other pursuits there. So when that stopped,
yes,
of course there was that period of uncertainty of what is going to happen, what's going to happen with us, what's going to happen with the staff, the employees, the members there, and so there was a bit of a holding pattern, quite understandably, for a little bit. And then as things started to segue into the spring and early summer, I started to think about what can be done, or how can I put this to good use, even though I don't know what tomorrow or any of that's going to bring. And so as a result of that, I started thinking about the idea of doing just an alternative session or an alternative type of presentation. And because Zoom, of course, became the biggest and I guess most important thing to us during that point in time, I realized that is something that could take place. So the seed was planted, I would say, shortly after, somewhere in the spring of last year.
Had you started, Doug, your fitbydoug.com? Was that in operation at that time?
It was not. It was not. I think it was in the ether, but it was not fully developed at that point in time. And as we went along and knew that, or we started to know that it was going to be a while before things were going to be operational again, or when things were going to reboot, there was a certain point where the decision was made. And I, of course, conferred with the missus, the love of my life, and the smartest person that I know, and said, I think I need to make a decision here. I think something needs to happen. And I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about going my own way and going virtual, and then hopefully when things do reboot, then I could open it out to doing in-person or on-site sessions and training.
I love what you're relaying to us and the way that you're sharing with us, because already every woman who's here now, and everyone will come for the replay, they're going to fall in love with you as I did. I fall in love quickly. I have the best hubby in the world, yet I met the love of my life and the smartest woman in the world, Amy. Well.
She is the smartest person in the world. She's my favorite person in the world. So it all works out. So win-win.
I love it. I love it. And gave you these two beautiful kids, Charlie and Teddy. I mean, really and truly. I think what you're doing and what you're all about is to be applauded. You are to be celebrated and praised because more than ever, because of this pandemic, and I'm guilty. I used to go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week. The pandemic, I slowly, boom, 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 boom. I've not done anything that's phenomenal in the past year or so. I attempt. So tell us, what are some of the things that someone like me who knows how important it is, yet has put it, my favorite expression, on a little bit too far on the back burner? What are some of the things that we can do now to get ourselves up and running? Because things are opening up slowly but surely, and we're all going to be out and about soon. So share with us some tips, some nuggets of things that we can do to begin step by step. What do we do for those who are like me?
I thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. So yes, you've touched on it. Now things are starting to open up, and the weather, despite the heat, humidity over the last period of time, the option or the opportunity to get outside, and quite simply just walking, just doing that. Holy smoke! I mean, you are already in that arena, taking so much good care of yourself, and that speaks to physical, that speaks to mental, that speaks to spiritual. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, Doug, because that's something that I still continue to do, but not much beyond that. So that's a good one. Walking is one of the best because it takes in the 3 elements that we need to be. Okay, good. What else?
Absolutely. So in addition to that, so when I think about things that you can do around the house that will not require any kind of extra equipment or will not require anything else other than your own body weight. This might seem silly or questionable, but the act of, if you've got a staircase, if you've got several staircases inside your house, outside your house, anywhere, the act of somewhere during the course of your day, whatever it is that you're doing, okay, take, say, 30 seconds. Up and down those stairs, however, whatever tempo, whatever speed that you want to do that. Do several bits, however many that you can do in 30 seconds. Then take 30 seconds and rest, or go walk and do something else. 30 seconds later, come back, do it again. And the idea of just breaking up those moments, those short bursts of moments where you're doing some activity that's absolutely focused on something like that, believe it or not, it goes a long way in terms of building up your metabolism and building up your heart rate and just giving you some activity that, again, requires no other equipment other than your own body weight. So I feel like that's something that you can incorporate, and you can do that in short bursts, as I said, 30 seconds, and you can do a number of them in that particular period of time, or you can come back to them over the course of a day. Go do your laundry, go take some phone calls, go take some meetings, and then come back. Okay, I'm going to do my 30 seconds. Up and down for 30 seconds, go do something else. But then just breaking them up in a little bit, just like that, you'll find you've accumulated a great deal of time and a great deal of energy and a great deal of activity by the end of that day.
No question about that, Doug. And I think we all have heard about how you do these things. I like the words that you use, intervals and focus and so on and so forth, and short sprints here, there, and yonder. What do we do when there is we are not giving ourselves the incentive or the push to do that? And it's not necessarily the person who's just god darn lazy. It's just that there's so much, with this pandemic, it's amazing to me. We're also so busy. So that we are not taking the time, many of us, some of us are, but I'm talking about the many, to engage in what you just shared with us. Are there incentives that you can share that maybe we can do, or something that will push us or elevate us over to the other side?
So that's a good question as well, too. And yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, of course, that is the biggest challenge of them all. Is you have the interest, you have the want to do it. Now it's just taking the literal and figurative first step.
That's it.
So I guess what it comes down to is, my suggestion would be, all right, set a goal of some kind, however simple, however elaborate. Set a goal for yourself. Write it down. Type it. Whatever it is, set a goal for yourself for that day, for that week. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. And just start with that. Define your goal. Define whatever it is. And if that goal could very well be, I want to be more active this summer. I want to be more engaged this summer. I want to look good in a particular outfit this summer. Or I just want to feel a little bit better after my meetings. I'm taking a lot of meetings all day, and I just want to feel better at the end of the day. Okay, so whatever it is, find a goal, determine what that is, and don't be shy about it. Don't feel like it's not enough. Write something down, make it a goal for yourself, and then once you have that on paper, in a sense, you have that accountability.
Yes.
You've written it down, you've put it out to the world, and start with that. And once you do, then you can start to build on that a little bit at a time, because a little bit, I swear to you, it does accumulate. It does mean something in the long run.
Yes. Douglas, you know what? You've mentioned several words there. I like what you're saying and sharing with us, and I know and I can feel why you are really a fantastic trainer, because accountability is good, goals are good. Set your goal, get an accountability person to work with, and slowly begin to implement into your schedule what it is you need to do. And that's what I am beginning to do. So I really get that. I love what you're sharing with us. It's all good. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick little break, put you in the green room, don't go anywhere. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about health, food, exercise, and packaging it all together and how people can align with you. So hold tight, don't go anywhere. I'll be back with you in just a second. All righty? Okay. Now, what can I say? This information, even though we might have heard it here, there, and yonder over and over and over, it's really paramount for all of us today to get more in line with our health and be accountable for it and not get someone to support us, because it's vital. Our health is everything. All the money in the world, no matter how much you have, if your health begins to fail, it's not good. So I applaud really what Doug is doing, because we all need him, and we need that trainer who's going to align us with what's best for our body shape, body, and all the other things that go there. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to join my Facebook group, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, because every third Thursday of the month we meet, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. This month was what I ought to say. We're going to be aligning with somebody who's going to be talking about lipstick and makeup, and we're going to be talking about predominantly lipstick. It's a biggie because we see so many of these horrific colors. We're going to talk about what's the best color for you. And I'm attempting to get a guest speaker to come and talk with us about that. And if not, I'll do it myself, but it's going to be something that you don't want to miss. And also, next Tuesday, which is the 13th, I began my masterclass, the workshop on stepping into your leadership style. And if you've not lined up because of the issues that I had with technology, feel free to connect, because it's going to be really fun and you're going to gain a lot of valuable information. And always join me here on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. because it's always going to be a guest who's going to be leaving you information that you can't afford to miss. And you have another assignment, and that is to connect with the people that I bring to you. If you can't connect and you have too many followers or whatever, just align with them however is best for you, because you never know when you might need somebody. And Douglas is doing something that's very pioneering, even though it's not really new. It is new for this new vista that we're all involved with. So make sure that you align with him. That said, Douglas, I'm going to bring you back up because I want to talk to health as it relates to food. Food is a biggie for all of us, because most people who've been in this pandemic, as you well know, more so than I, nibbling away because of even though they're busy, the nerves, and then a few pounds have added on. So tell us a little bit about food. And I don't like nobody likes the word dieting, but food and eating right, eating healthy. What are some tips that you can share with us to help us all get back on the good foot, so to speak?
Happy to help with that, of course. And yes, just the components of this past year have made it just a giant question mark for everything. And Yes, and nerves and uncertainties and all of that has made things even more complicated. From my end, I can safely say that one of the best things that I do, and God bless her, I listen to my mother. After all these years, I've listened to my mother in the sense that she's always tried to promote that you should have a balanced, I won't say diet either, but you should have a balance in your life in terms of fruits and vegetables, lean protein, good carbs, good fats. And the idea of having it and spreading it all around, because all of it is important. All of it is vital to, I mean, of course, good physical health, but also just good mental health and good spiritual health as well, too. But the idea being that having all those in place and also having those times where you call your indulgences or you call your guilty pleasures, whatever. The idea of not depriving yourself on any of those elements, but also not overdoing it. So I know it's easier said than done in terms of everything in moderation. Yeah. That is the absolute truth.
Yes.
Everything in moderation. If you find that you can tolerate all these different things, all these different components, fats and carbs and proteins, everybody talks about all of those, but you do it in a balanced way. So with every meal, with every snack, and you just try to make good choices to incorporate all of those things. Don't deprive, because once you deprive, then you know that's the end of it. You'll go the other way, and you'll overindulge.
Yes.
It's
no question about it. Nobody wants to be deprived.
Yeah, about finding a balance between all the good things, quote unquote, that you should eat, and the things that you would call indulgences or things that are little rewards. You have to just remind yourself. You just have to find your way to say, okay, I can do this, and just be very, very mindful of what you're putting into your system, when you're putting it into your system as well, too. Are you doing it because there is really, truly that hunger trigger that's giving it off to you? Or are you doing it because, for lack of a better term, you're bored?
Yes.
You have to be mindful of when you're doing it and why you're doing it. And I think that's one of the things that's been prominent with regards to this last year. Is that, what do I do? What do I do? I don't have anything else to do.
Right.
Put something in my mouth. So.
You know what happens, Douglas? You've used words there that are prevalent for what we're talking about. And I know because I have had a personal trainer, and I had someone to work with me a lot on eating healthy foods to substitute for some of the things that were not good for me. And the biggest thing was cutting out the sugar. But you mentioned that word deprived. You don't want the person to, and you want balance. So the key, I think, for someone like you, when you're working with someone, is to find out what they really, really love, and then give them great substitutes that are healthy for those foods. Do you do anything like that when you, because for me, it was cakes and cookies and pies. Now, because I love nuts, so I'm crunching on things all the time. So now I haven't had anything sweet in over a year, and I haven't gained a pound either. So how do you work that with somebody who has something that they're crazy about, but that's not good for them, and they know it? You have to keep, how do you sublimate and substitute?
I'm glad that you say that, because particularly with things like nuts and fruits, I know sometimes they're harder to incorporate than other things. But I try to say, or I try to impart to them, my own experience. What I find is that in terms of snacking, anything that could swing towards the direction of fruit, vegetables, nuts, or if you have nut allergies, then something that would be equivalent to that, whether it's beans or legumes or anything along those lines.
Yeah.
There are so many there's so many choices now that are available that are really good and really healthy, but are also very, very tasty. So I try to encourage, or I try to direct them into the areas of those things that we just mentioned. And also to keep in mind that if there are things that they do really like that may be on the guiltier side of things,
Yes.
I say, okay, you can hold on to that. Hold on to it. Just save it. So, for example, the best example I can say is that you do your best during the course of the week to incorporate all the healthy things that we've talked about. And the reward, whether it's at the end of the week or somewhere in the middle of the week, the reward is that thing you like, whether it's the cupcake or it's the slice of pizza or it's the glass of wine. Whatever it is, you can still incorporate that. You just have to do it in a very mindful and reasonable way. Right. So on the rest of the week, all the other things that you do, fruits, veggies, nuts, anything along those lines that are good for good healthy snacking or good healthy eating, do your best to incorporate that. That will go a long way. And I feel like that will accumulate in them. And then you can still have a place for the wine. You can still have a place for the treats, just in a reasonable capacity.
Well, you're spot on, because that's exactly what my trainer said. Every now and then he said, if you have an inkling until you get your system adjust to what we're doing, then you can have that guilty pleasure. Do it in moderation and so on and so forth. So you're spot on about that. Listen, Doug, the time flies here. I don't know where it goes, but it flies. Boom, boom. But here's what I want to hear from you, because we all love stories. We love stories. Everyone loves stories. Do you have an example or story of something that you'd like to share with us about one of your clients, one of the people that you worked with, that you began here and ended there, and they were overjoyed and so were you? Any story whatsoever. It doesn't matter who, when, no names, but anything that you can share, because that's when we get our inspiration and motivation, when we hear from someone else what their success was. So you have something you can share with us?
Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, absolutely. And they're actually two examples that really, really just warm my heart and make me go over the moon. And it's two very, very different goals, but nevertheless, they were just meaningful to them.
Okay.
One in particular wanted to take part in their first 5K. That was the goal. They wanted to go and they wanted to do their first 5K. So it was a matter of going through all the goals and all of the training that needed to get them there. When they finally attained that goal that they wanted, and the joy and the elation that they felt just finishing, just getting to that finish line, didn't have anything to do with the specific time that they wanted or anything along those lines. They just wanted to be able to do it and attend it and finish it. And the fact that they did, and then the joy that came out of that, and then immediately after they did that, they told me that and said, I can't believe it. I'm so thankful I did it. I'm signing up for my next one tomorrow. So so that already just made my heart grow immensely. And the other one, quite simply, was they wanted to fit into a dress for their daughter's wedding. That was the goal. That was it. They just wanted to do that. Of course, they wanted general fitness and functional fitness and all that, but they wanted to fit into that dress.
Get it.
And when she did, after all the work that we did, she said to me, it was great because not only did I fit into the dress and not only did I feel great, but it was actually a little bit big on me when I put it on. I was like, oh, okay. But she said that's a wonderful problem to have in her perspective. That was a wonderful thing for her. And she has taken that, and of course she's managed to incorporate the healthy living and healthy experience into her life now. And that made my heart soar. So they found their goals, met their goals, and now they are continuing that healthy portion of their life.
Well, that's a good story. And the way you ended, they're continuing to stay on that path and do all the things that you gave them and that you trained them with. Let me tell you this. I am, in every way that I can, supportive of what you're doing. I praise and celebrate you and applaud you, because we all need more people like you who are all about giving us the tools and the tips and nuggets that we need to stay at our best, because the universe is calling for all of us now, and we are a united extended family. So I say to you, bravo, keep on doing what you're doing. I'm happy that you're in that neck of the woods, which is Rockaway, New Jersey, right? Not Rockaway.
So I grew up in Rockaway. I'm in Hillsborough, New Jersey.
Hillsborough, New Jersey.
But Rockaway's good too.
New Jersey, I know, because hubby and I lived there for quite a few years, and not in Hillsborough, but in New Jersey. So let me say this to you. Thank you for being here and sharing your information and your knowledge with us. I'm sending you always the best. And I'm wishing for you always the best. And may you begin to grow and explode and do all the things that you're here to do. And thank you for sharing time and space with us.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. I'm going to put you in the green room and I'll be with you in just a second. Thank you again.
So much. Thank you.
I tell you, listen, fitness, health is everything. I am repetitive, and I will be repeating that over and over and over almost every time I see you, because I so am a fan of everything that has to do with health and fitness. Even though I've slipped over to the dark side, I'm getting back though. I didn't say to you before, put in the word biz, B-I-Z, and you'll get a complimentary booklet delivered to you, whether you're here now or for the replay. And also, whatever you do, I've been running Douglas's information across. Make sure that you connect with him. Let me get rid of the biz, that you show and give him the attention that you are interested, whether it's for you or someone else, because we all need to get better with our health and fitness. And that's what he's all about. And he loves doing it. You can tell that. So that said, what can I say? It's always good to see you. It's always good to be with you. I'm hoping that you will make the connection, whether now or down the road, because this will go out on many, many other platforms a little bit way down the road. But you have the opportunity now to connect and see if there's an option or a possibility for you. And we can never have too many friends, too many followers, too many people that we applaud and celebrate, because we all, again, repetitive, need each other. So enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your day, whatever time it might be where you are. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Like, how about tomorrow night? Same time, same station. Be well and take care. Much love. All the best. So long for now. Cheers.